Who wants to go first?
Yes.
Do you want to say something?
Sure, actually,
Okay.
yeah. Just before we start, I am very, very excited for championships. I'm so excited to see these girls perform, and I think that they're all going to do amazing. I'm rooting for them. However, my heart does go out to the girls that have come forward about the Nassar case. I stand with them. I think that they are incredibly brave for speaking out, and I think that it's time for us to start healing, and I think that it's really a time where all of us just really need to come together for it. So my heart's with them. Just figured I'd say that before we start.
Okay. Who wants to break the ice? One at a time.
I'll ask you about your training plans. You've talked about a possible gym change and getting back for 2020. What's the status?
So right now, I am in the transition from taking that 2-year break to coming back to the sport. I've been doing I've been doing a lot of conditioning and kind of dipping my toe in the water. I'm still very passionate about it, so I'm excited.
Ellie had said that after taking 1 year off, it took her 3 years to get back to where she'd been. Have you ever talked with her about what it's like to be able to make that comeback?
Not quite, but I think I'd ask her about it soon just because she's done it before. I mean, I have not taken such a long break before. However, I do think that my body and my mind really needed that, and I'm excited.
When you consider coming back, what do you think of the current field of gymnasts that the U.S. is putting together?
I think that these girls are fierce. I commend them for going out there and trying all these new skills. I know that every few years the code of points does change, and these girls are adapting so quick. So I'd love to be in a field where all these girls are trying their best.
Laurie, when you say you're making the process of making the transition, what do you mean by that, and what does that look like in terms of specifics? Like, how do you go from the transition to?
So basically, right after 2016, we were able to do Dancing with the Stars, and we were able to go on tours and do all of these different events, and it was a lot of traveling, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was incredible. I still am doing a bit of traveling just because we have some pretty neat things that have been coming up. However, it has been slowing down just so I can take time to condition and to start eating healthy and to start going to bed a little bit earlier, because we all know gymnastics is a really tough sport. You can't just hop into it. You have to take time and progressively move back.
Do you plan to compete next year?
That's the hope.
So where will you be training?
I'm looking at a few different places right now.
Would it definitely be in New Jersey, or could it be somewhere else?
It could be somewhere else.
When you walk back in this environment, you see the podium set up, does it give you that extra desire to want to be back out there?
It does. I mean, it makes my heart flutter a little bit, and knowing that I've competed on a podium for quite a few years, I mean, there's always that little girl in me that pops back and is like, you know what, I genuinely love the sport and I'm passionate about it. So yeah, it does get me excited.
What about seeing Simone out here? Does that give you an extra, knowing that you've competed with her, and does that kind of give you an extra motivation knowing she's back, so you want to be back too?
Yeah, I mean, Simone is incredible. Simone is something else. I think that her gymnastics is just to be commended for, and every time I watch her, and even though we were teammates at Rio, I'm still wowed by her. So yeah, she's courageous for getting back out there, and it does motivate me.
What are you looking for in a potential gym?
I guess in a potential gym, just a place where I feel comfortable just moving about freely and being able to properly kind of communicate to everyone around me, in a place where I can just express myself through gymnastics and to try new skills.
So what do you say there? Are you talking more about you're looking at coaches, or looking at different parts of the country that you might move to, or what do you mean exactly by?
Oh.
Any ideas where?
I'm still looking into a few different places.
All right, when you look at, Simone went back into training like for 8 or 9 months to kind of get back where she's at, and obviously she's at a pretty high level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever you return to training, do you have to kind of go, hey, people, slow your roll, like that's Simone, and I'm a different athlete, and if I'm not, jacking meets up when my 8 months back, it's okay. I mean, you have to sort of temper expectations, not even internally, but also maybe externally.
Honestly, ever since I was a little girl, my mom always taught me that when we're competing, it's always to compete against myself and to compete against my own scores. And if I did a routine and I didn't get the score that I wanted, if I was proud of the routine that I did, then that was all that mattered. So for me, coming back, it's just making sure that I'm able to do the routines that I'm comfortable doing, and just to be the gymnast that I know I'd love to be, and to be consistent.
Going back to your time off, how has it shaped you, and how do you think it would change you as a gymnast if you do return?
I think the time off has been amazing. I did gymnastics for 11 years, and I started homeschooling in the 3rd grade. It was basically just all about gymnastics, and I love the sport. I'm very, very passionate about it, how I've said before. But I think taking those 2 years off, I've been able to meet so many new people, and I've been able to travel and get to know other people and look at different perspectives. And it's really helped me to grow as a person, and I think that's really important, especially through my teenage years.
Not everyone comes back, and obviously we've seen a lot of people have difficulty with it. And you accomplished so much, and you've done so much since Rio. Why come back? I mean, have you thought, maybe I just want to keep having fun and not put myself through that grueling process? Why come back?
Because I'm still passionate about it. And ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved it, and I still do. And so it's still really important to me, but I think taking the time out to do fun things, like go ahead and go on Dancing with the Stars, and to come out with a Barbie, and to do all of these different things, that makes me so excited and fulfilled, and I hope that doesn't stop, because those are things that, even as a little girl, I had always dreamed of doing, and now I get to do that now.
Have you talked to Tom yet about, well, just in general, and then about specifically what you need to do comeback-wise?
Not quite. I mean, we said hello earlier, which was great. I do remember Tom from TOPS camps and developmental camps, and I would see him out there, and he was always a friendly face, and it's nice to see him back out here.
At the beginning, you mentioned time for the sport to kind of start moving forward. What are some things that you think can be done to advance it in that direction?
I think communication is key. I think it's important for us to, as athletes, to speak together and to talk about it, because, we can't ignore the fact that it happened. We can't do that. However, we can look forward for us to heal and for us to come together as a gymnastics community and to be hopeful that we can create a safer environment for the kids of the future.
Do you think Carrie Perry has done enough in that regard?
I think that right now they're trying their hardest.
Laurie, what's it been like to have so many opportunities to inspire young girls, especially Hispanic girls, throughout the country? I know a lot of young women that I've come across are really excited to have you as a role model.
Thank you.
And you've really taken a lot of those opportunities and run with them. How important has that been to you?
It has been extremely important. It's definitely been kind of a priority, honestly. I mean, growing up, I did gymnastics because I loved it, not realizing that there weren't many Hispanic gymnasts out there. And I remember kind of going to Rio, and we had one of the most diverse teams of all time, and that inspired me, and I was able to be a part of it, and not realizing how many girls were really watching us compete and watching us out there, and kind of pointing to the screen like I did as a little kid and saying, well, if she can do it, then so can I. And that's really important to me, and I hope to keep doing that.
When Allie came back, she said one of the motivators was her 4th place in the all-around in London. Is there anything from 2016 that you look back on and say, either I want a shot at that, or there's something about that experience that year that motivates me to want to get back to the Olympics?
I mean, there's quite a few things that do motivate me to come back. I mean, one of them, again, just being passionate for the sport and having that time off. It was definitely a well-needed break. It was something that I needed to just kind of recover, and taking that time off, it's kind of like, you know what? I've spent so much time away from it, but yet this is still my home. So that's been a motivating factor, and there are other things as well.
Have you been on? That's probably I've seen you on social posts like, "Hey, I'm on a beam. I'm doing a." But I mean, have you been on anything at all? I mean, I'm outside of just conditioning. Have you done anything on any apparatus since you walked off the podium?
Every so often, yes, but consistently, no.
What would be the hardest things to give up now that you've been able to do since gymnastics? Eating things you couldn't eat before, for example. Having to give that up to get back.
I gotta drop the cookies, and that's annoying. No, I'm just kidding. That's fine. I'm okay with it. No, I mean, I do miss that lifestyle. I do miss waking up and kind of moving and flipping. I mean, as a little kid, whether you're a gymnast or not, you do forward rolls and somersaults all around the house. You know, you see little kids doing cartwheels on grass, and that's kind of who I've always been, and that's something that I missed a lot. So I don't think that I'm really gonna miss any different lifestyle. I do love to travel, and I do love to meet new people. I think it's important to make those new connections, but I believe that change is good.
When you went to Greece, did you go to Olympia?
I did.
Did that stir anything in you, being an Olympic champion, being in Olympia?
I did. I mean, we were able we were able to go to Athens and see some of the beautiful monuments. And it was me and my sister, and we had actually purchased a necklace of the Greek crown, and it's got like the olive leaves on it, and we got a gold one. So it's for good luck.
All these kids now that will have Laurie Hernandez Barbies, you've been such a role model. What is it like to have so many people that look up to you in that regard?
I take it as a big responsibility. I think it's important. You know, when I was a little girl, I pointed to the screen and said, since she can do it, so can I. And now little girls are doing that to me, which is crazy. So now that I'm able to come out with a Barbie and she's got curls like mine, even though my hair is straight today, but she's got curls like mine and her face looks like mine and she looks different. And I think that's important that, you know, it's being able to visibly see a role model. It sparks that motivation to try something new.
2 or 3 more questions and then